conductor this morning. Jim is our motorman. We're going to let him drive.
Okay.
Before we get started, I want to remind you of our two safety rules involving the train, the trolley. One is please stay seated when the trolley is in motion. We have had occurrences where joggers or squirrels have crossed our path suddenly. We had to come to a screeching halt. The other one is to please keep your hands, arms, and other appendages inside the car because we pass a lot of telephone poles, trees, and bushes on our route. We wouldn't want you to damage any of our historic Fort Collins vegetation. Okay, Jim, we're ready to go. Fort Collins established a trolley system in 1907. At that time, it was a private concern run by the Denver and Interurban Railway, which was part of the Colorado and Southern. I'm not competing with the air compressor. Private trolley company used double truck 44 passenger cars that were built by the Weber Car Company in Denver. They required 2 motormen to run. As a result, that company was never very profitable and it went out of business partly due to the federalization of railways in World War I. So in 1919, the city of Fort Collins bought the rights to the system and scrapped the big cars in favor of these smaller 28-passenger Birney cars that were made by the American Car Company in St. Louis. Car number 21 that you're riding on was the first car put in service by the Fort Collins Municipal Railway. It ran from 1919 until 1951, and that whole time you could ride anywhere in the city of Fort Collins for a nickel. We had about 8 miles of track on 2 principal routes. The Mountain Avenue route that you're on right now ran from City Park down to College Avenue, which is the main street of Old Fort Collins. You could then transfer to the second loop, which ran down College Avenue to Pitkin Street, where Colorado State University is, took 2 blocks over, came back up Peterson and Whitney Street to the Old Town Municipal Center on a continuous loop. At that time, you could ride anywhere in Fort Collins in about 15 minutes because every trolley ran on a 10-minute schedule. There were a total of 6 cars in the system at that time. We also, at various times, had other routes. There was a route that went out about 3 miles to Lindemeyer Lake, which was where the Great Western Sugar Factory was, where they converted sugar beets into sugar. And there was a feedlot out there. There was another route that went up to LaPorte, which is a small town north of Fort Collins. Those routes were unprofitable and they were discontinued in the 1920s. By 1951, the town of Fort Collins had grown south of the end of our system on Prospect Street, and after World War II everybody got cars, so the system became unprofitable and was discontinued in June of 1951. At that time, this car was hauled over to Library Park and was set out behind the library as a historic curiosity, and it was allowed to deteriorate until 1978. In 1978, a group of women in the Junior League decided that we should paint this car and turn it into a tourist attraction. It got a little more ambitious than that, because every time we took something off to paint it, we found 2 more things that were rusted or broken, and it actually took 7 years for this car to be restored to its original condition. Beginning in 1985, we ran the system up and down Mountain Avenue the way you're having it right now, and we've run every weekend and holiday in the summer ever since. We're also in the process of restoring another car which we recently acquired, car number 25, and you'll see that over at the Powell Street Car Barn later this morning. If you have any questions, I'll be glad to try and answer them. Yes, sir.
Where did the other cars go?
The other cars were either sold off or turned into scrap. We know that one car went to Charlotte, North Carolina. That was car 25, and we reacquired that one. There's one in Colorado Springs and one in Minden, Nebraska that are from the original 6 cars. I don't know where the rest of them disappeared.
So that one, I saw the one in Colorado Springs yesterday.
No. There is a slight disagreement between our organization and theirs over the history of that car.
Yeah, no. Wasn't the one they told it in Colorado Museum? Wasn't it right?
I'm not sure.
Next big historic street railway. It's a long name. It is pretty. How many people in Fort Collins now?
Right now, there's about 140,000 people in Fort Collins, and that includes about 27,000 that attend Colorado State University. So right now, the university just finished graduation, and so all those kids left that are now is smaller. They'll be nice and cool, right? Probably nice. You're a crazy college student on bicycles. It's nice when they're gone. Well, there's a lot of things going on when the students are here, like that's getting quieter in the summer. It's like New Orleans down in France. It's like the street on New Orleans running down the Grand Now. On your left up here is the Avery House. It's our historic Edwardian mansion that was built by Mr. William Avery. He was one of the founders of Fort Collins. He's also the guy that laid out the town. He was a surveyor and a banker and everything else. And that's why we're so lucky, is that he makes the streets wide enough for a wagon to turn around fully loaded. Yeah, which makes a lot of sense, and we're very grateful for that. He also was responsible for planting all the trees in the Mountain Avenue Boulevard.
before you start, look around the bed, looking down through the window.
Sure.